Hi,
Hello, hello.
how's it going?
Good. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining me.
Just wanted to
And
show
us.
the
There's the raffle item.
raffle
It's so
item.
it's so much bigger than it looks like in the photos. That was true for the journal too. It's funny how a photo like shrinks an object, but
Yes.
seeing it next to a person, you get like the full effect. So beautiful, beautiful thing. Okay, great. So you do some really cool work. You do some on ocean conservation art project stuff. And
Yes.
do you want to tell us a little bit about how that project has like developed and like what the goals of the project are?
Yeah. So I grew up in Washington State, very, very close to the ocean on a llama ranch. And so I grew up with a background in fiber art. We would shear our llamas and then we would spin their wool. I actually have some alpaca that I've been
Oh, that's so
spinning
cool.
lately to tie into my
Yes.
tapestries.
Mhm.
And so growing up, having that farm perspective, but then also visiting the ocean. My sister and I would run through the woods and a lot throughout the day. And so we would have scrapes and scratches on our
Right.
legs. And I remember going to the ocean and experiencing for the first time this beautiful relationship with the ocean. It was healing the scrapes and scratches on my body from the salt in the sea.
Mhm.
And so that was one of my first experiences of having the ocean really show love towards me as a human.
Yeah.
And so then what happened from there was me dedicating my life and my practice as an artist to its preservation and protection.
Mhm. Awesome. That's beautiful. So in the projects that you're working on right now, you are going to the ocean, collecting marine debris from the shore
Yes.
and using it in your work. And
Yes.
it's like it's this really sustainable like second life for the stuff that you're collecting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, I really speak to the heart of shifting the narrative of plastic marine debris. And what that really looks like is, when we hear of our ocean being full of plastic, it's really frightening. It's really
Yeah.
scary. And when we look through a lens of fear, we get really contracted and our energy shrinks. We feel incapable and we get stuck in that space.
Right.
But if we shift and we look through a lens of love at this ocean full of plastic, love and understanding, we then become expanded. Our energy grows and we think of solutions,
Right.
and we can then be more open to how we want to go about taking those next steps forward to help heal the ocean.
Absolutely. And that's where the art comes in.
Absolutely.
So you have some cool marine debris samples that you
I do.
are that
Yeah,
I
I'm
think you wanted to share how to identify the pieces out there. Uh,
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for mentioning that too, because I created these for my students for some of the classes that
right.
are coming up that we'll talk about later.
Mhm.
But I we were talking about this yesterday too, about
Yep.
how it's difficult to show the plastic
Right.
marine debris.
Well,
So being able to put them on blocks like this has really allowed
uh,
me to share. So these are some of the more identifiable pieces. Um,
yeah,
you
I see
know,
the lighter.
yeah, a
Yep.
lot of bathroom toiletry type
Yep.
stuff. Here's a comb,
Mhm.
toothpick type deal, um, toothbrush handle.
Brush. Yep.
Yep. Ink
Ink
cartridge.
cartridge.
Yep.
Oh, printer ink
The
cartridge.
straw, the well-known straw.
Yeah.
Lots of parties happen on the beaches,
Oh,
lots of
that's a glow
celebrations.
stick.
The
Okay.
glow stick, and I
Yeah.
found so many of those.
Well, and like, and who knows what's in those?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Oftentimes when I find them, they are intact,
That's
which is
good.
kind of, a blessing and a curse with plastic.
Yeah.
But I'd rather have that liquid contained than be
Yeah, I
on.
have the weird whatever's in that contained. Uh,
Absolutely. And then you also have the bottle caps, which we see a lot of on the beaches.
The different sizes and shapes. Look at all the relationships to containers we have.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
One for cooking, one for goo.
And then we also have the not so identifiable pieces, like these guys here. So these look like shells.
They do. I would totally miss those. We'll do like a beach cleanup.
And then glass, right? Yeah. So because often
glass? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So they oftentimes just blend right in, and we think, oh, you know, that's either a piece of glass that's sharp, I'm not going to touch it, or that's a shell and it's an organic object.
Right.
And you know, using our judgment when collecting is a really big part of the collection process, because quite oftentimes, you know, we want to ask ourselves, is that safe to pick up? If not, don't do it. Really listening to the intuition is so much a part of the process, but also the weight test too. So these you would not necessarily even glance at as being plastic.
They look like rocks or shells. Those don't even look like plastic.
Yeah. And the way to find out, maybe I can get a little closer.
Oh yeah.
The way to really find out is to lift them up, pick them up and do the weight test.
Okay.
They're going to be very, very light.
Yeah,
very, very
that makes sense. Like lighter than a rock you would expect to have a certain amount of heft.
A little bit of weight. Yes. Yep. Absolutely. But
on the other hand, those are probably great for art though, because they're such an interesting like shape and like they look like something natural. Absolutely. So that's kind of like, on the one hand, they're hard to find, but I mean, isn't that how it is though? The best things are hard to find.
These ones, those are more common than you would even realize, which is surprising.
You probably have an eye for it, huh?
Well, now I do, but it took a very long time because I was passing them up in the beginning too, because they look organic.
Yeah.
So it's like trying to make the distinction between the non-organic materials versus the organic just takes time, and spending time at the beach and really being in the environment with them. But I do find a lot of inspiration from those pieces. And where I don't utilize the more identifiable objects such as bottle caps and like the ink cartridges and so forth, and what have you in my work, those actually I do throw away. But I'm really inspired by the rock shapes, by all of the shell looking pieces, and then pulling in the really finer, more small bits of plastic marine debris into my work where I can. And that process has been really exploratory. How can I use as many pieces as I possibly can?
Yeah.
And what makes these pieces so special, I just want to share, is that they are pretty much like last life plastic marine debris. They are on their way into becoming the microest of microplastics.
Right. The really problematic plastics in the ocean. Yeah.
Yes. So being able to utilize them in our artistic practices is wonderful, because they're never going to return to the ocean.
So what's an example of a couple of places that you use this in your own work?
Yeah. So I pull the marine debris in many different ways. One of the ways that I do is in my paintings.
Oh, yeah.
So
you do a quick this way. Yeah, there you go. Oh, cool. There we go.
So I'm actually sewing this to the canvas.
Yes. We talked about that yesterday, and I was like, sewing is great because it's really it's gonna stay.
Yes. It will stay. And so you can, like, ties in my fiber art. I was really hesitant to pierce the canvas for a long time. I thought, oh gosh, you know, what would the greats think? And how and how taboo is this? And I really felt like it was kind of a forbidden, taboo thing. And And then I thought about some of the most amazing greats that I really admire. And I thought, well, man, Frida Kahlo would definitely encourage us,
Breakers.
you know?
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of these amazing artists that I know would encourage doing what you will in the name of art
Right.
to be able to bring your message about. So yeah, so that is one of my
Great.
paintings that I actually sew the canvas to. You and I were actually talking yesterday about adhesives and not trusting adhesives.
Yes.
And the only way that I've been able to trust that my plastic is going to remain stuck to the canvas is by using a heavy gel medium. So where I do sew the plastic to the canvas, I'm actually also backing it sometimes with the heavy gel medium, or using it to support the plastic, which is really interesting. But this is one of the pieces
Yes.
from my Kaleidoscope from the C class that
Awesome.
we were going to be doing together.
Beautiful. We'll talk about that in just a moment.
Yeah.
I also have to ask you about the earrings that you're wearing.
Oh yes, so these are also plastic marine debris.
Oh, how cool. They're such interesting organic shapes that they make this really, and they're not symmetrical.
No, which is another fun aspect of the plastic marine debris. Working with these pieces, you can differentiate between colors, right? You can notice that, oh, these two colors go together pretty well, but no two pieces are alike. And I think that that really speaks to who we are as people. It's a reflection of our uniqueness.
And it's like eclectic, and yeah, and like humans aren't symmetrical, so like
right,
yeah,
and we're textured, and
yeah,
exactly, as we grow through life and become,
and they have this powerful story where they're part of, you know, ocean conservation.
Absolutely,
it's always cool to have jewelry or something you wear that has a story and a background to it.
It's a good conversation starter, that's for sure. And I have some of them up on my website as well.
Oh, lovely. Great. So these can be found in the shop.
These are steel and cotton.
Yes. And you said
marine debris.
Yesterday, they're sterling silver hooks. So
yes, for sensitive ears.
Good for sensitive ears. These are important details when it comes to, I am a big earring purchaser with sensitive ears, and I know how important it is.
Me too.
Yes. Yes. Can I ask you about some of the stuff behind you?
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a tapestry on the wall, which really speaks to your past as a weaver, or your present as a weaver as well, but also your past. And you said there's alpaca. The yarn is yarn that's been, I'm like fur, hair, yarn.
Yeah.
That's been hand spun, correct?
Yes, I've spun this on my wheel, which is over yonder.
And it's such like this ancient art too of spinning and weaving.
Yeah, I really have such fond memories of growing up with our fiber guild and hearing the stories. I was sharing with you that my sister and I were the youngest members in our fiber guild at 8 and 10. That's and our oldest members were in their 80s.
So, intergenerational connection.
Yeah, having that intergenerational platform to be able to hear stories and learn these techniques has been invaluable in my work and in my process and practice.
So you have a class coming up that really relates to that particular intergenerational topic.
I do.
Yeah, do you want to tell us about Kaleidoscope from the Sea?
Yeah, so Kaleidoscope from the Sea came about as a way for me to bring more plastic marine debris from the ocean into the artistic process, and where we can do a lot of work individually and make a lot of impact individually, we can make a bigger impact collaboratively. And so being able to pull the intergenerational relationships into our learning atmospheres, into our teaching atmospheres, and then working with the art and teaching art really allows for an amplification of that shifting of the narrative from negative to positive.
Well, and it connects people too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Which is something we're really, hurting for in our current circumstance, being in the pandemic for an entire year now.
It's so challenging. Absolutely.
Yeah, that connection.
That isolation can really affect us in so many different capacities.
Exactly.
So being able to deliver, so I will be delivering these eco art kits to people and their front doors, and they will be able to zoom in with me and
Great.
have
Yeah.
the class.
Oh, so it's okay. So it's all done on Zoom.
It is all done on Zoom.
All right.
Eventually, I want to be
In
able
person,
to get back to taking it in person.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's all done on Zoom. People
All
get
done on
the
Zoom.
parcel comes to them. Who can participate in this?
Yeah. So eventually, everyone.
Okay.
And I mean that in a geographic way. Everyone geographically. Eventually, I want to be able to get to a place where I can list these kits on my website. And so thinking about that in the future for sure. As of now, my class opens on April 9th.
Okay.
And it will run through June 11th. And there are multiple classes. Those are up on my website.
Yes. There's a link to it.
There's a link to it. Yeah. Yes. Check that out.
And as far as the generational relationship of people involved, you're encouraging intergenerational connections. So you're reaching out to people that are like in our age group, but also like who else are you reaching out to?
Absolutely. So older individuals, our older community members. That is what really inspired this. I am working on my degree in gerontology at Portland Community College.
Oh, cool.
And so this model, this creative conservation model, has really developed as a way to offer my older community members the ability to create art with really uncommon materials.
And what will they be creating?
What will they be creating? They will actually be creating
the
8x8 sort of mandala or mosaics.
Yes.
And I'm going to be providing 2 templates in their art kits. One, they're going to be hand illustrated, but they will be giving them an idea of a mosaic or mandala to kind of get their juices flowing, or they can take creative liberties and just do a free for all. And and I'll be there to guide them through that process.
And what happens? What happens with the pieces? I'm sorry. What happens with the pieces once they've been completed?
Yeah, so that is the most exciting part for me. I'm really excited about that part because I'm going to curate an amazing art show for my students. So each of our pieces in their art kits, they'll be receiving 70 pieces of plastic marine debris. This has 58 pieces, but we will be counting how many pieces they've used. They may not use that many, right? At which point I will reabsorb the materials into my own practice.
Right. Not going back to the ocean.
Right, they're definitely not going back to the ocean.
Right.
So we're going to total out all of the pieces, and including the ones that I will be making with them as well. So at the end, we will have accumulated approximately 3,500 pieces of microplastics from the ocean and brought them into our practice. So in the art show that I will be curating for them in a public space, they will have, each piece will have a small circle stating the number of its individual piece.
Oh, cool.
And then on the grander scale, we will calculate how many pieces together. And
so really able to see their impact.
Yes, absolutely. So cool. As individuals and then as a collaborative.
That's lovely.
But I wanted to mention really quickly
Yes.
The geography thing. So the reason for that is that I am driving to each student.
Okay.
It's recommended
Drop
in
off the parcel that
right
has
to
all the
drop off
drop
the
the kit.
parcel in the kits. And I just want to be sure that I am able to get those to
Right.
everyone.
They have to be in a reasonable
In
location.
a
So
reasonable,
now
yes.
it's limited to just your location in Oregon, which is what would you say is like the range of that location
Yeah,
for
so Western Oregon,
okay.
my coastal communities, definitely accessible to them. So from basically from Portland to the coast
Okay.
and a little north, little
Cool
west.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Fair
yeah.
enough. Fair enough. Awesome. Okay. And again, the link, there's a link that goes to the event page on your site that will give details about this particular project.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Can we talk a little bit about also what you've got in your shop right now?
Yeah. So in the shop, uh, this is actually really exciting. I am, and you are all the first to know. Yay! I'm launching my new website today.
Yay! That's
Today.
exciting. I
So
got to look at it. It looks beautiful.
oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I am super excited about that. The shop is still getting stocked, but
Mhm.
I currently have several earrings up there right now. And I have a couple prints. I have my educational marine alphabet illustrations
Mhm.
from the A, B, and C
Oh, neat.
that people can select as a grouping for
Okay.
now. Those will later be offered individually.
Okay, cool.
What else do I have? I also have my Earth Temple piece, which ties in a lot of plastic marine debris as well,
Mhm.
and sort of encompasses this wooden plank that
Oh,
is
lovely.
just lovely. It's beautiful.
Awesome. And then can we expect to see like some of your baskets, perhaps one or two
Yes.
tapestries, things like
Yes,
that?
absolutely. Yes, tapestries will be stocked in the shop. Baskets will be stocked in the shop. I'm
Okay.
really, really excited to be able to offer all of that. I will also be having a bunch of my older paintings up as well.
Oh, great.
So
Yeah.
be sure to look out for sales because there
And I'm
will
getting
be
some
a lot of
prints as
sales.
well.
Yes, and a lot of prints. Yeah.
Lovely. So yeah, okay, so there's, to be clear, there's a link that goes to Shelby's project for the class that you're going to be doing, which is called Kaleidoscope from the sea, Kaleidoscope from the sea. And then there's also a link that takes you to Shelby's shop, and all of that's going to be on the event, or is on the event page right now.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us, Shelby. I really enjoyed our interaction.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for watching. For more videos like this, go to the link here. And to support us, you can join the Patreon by going to the link below.